Algebra 1, Lesson 24, Multiplicative Property of Equality. So we're going to use this in reference to equations and figure out how we can use this property to solve more equations for unknown letters. Going to our practice, we're going to go ahead and do A, B, C, and D. Starting with A, we have 3/5 times x equals 27. So to use the multiplicative property, all we have to do is multiply the coefficient of x by its inverse to eliminate it, and if we do that to one side, we do it to both sides. That's our rule for equations. So we'll start by drawing a line in the middle to cut the equation in half, and the inverse of the coefficient is what we're going to multiply. So if our coefficient is 3/5 times x, the inverse would be 5/3. When we do that, these cross cancel, and all we're left with is x. Now, on this side, since we multiplied one side by 5/3, we have to multiply this side by 5/3 as well. So we take 27, put it over 1, and now we're multiplying fractions. Here we see we can cross cancel. 3 goes into 27 9 times. So we have 9 times 5, which is 45, over 1 times 1, which is 1. So x equals 45. And that's our answer. Now, let's go to B. Same thing, but now we're using mixed numbers. So the best way to do this is take this mixed number and turn it into an improper fraction. So whenever we see an equation with a mixed number, a simple one like this, we're just going to take this, turn it into an improper fraction. So we multiply 5 times 3, add 1, we get 16 over 5, sorry, 16, not 15, 16 over 5 times y equals 32. From here, we use our multiplicative property, and we multiply by the inverse of 5/16. Those cancel, and then we're just left with y. Then we take 32 and we multiply it by 5/16. Take 32, put it over 1. Here we should be able to realize that 16 and 32 can reduce, and 16 actually goes in 32 2 times. So then we get 2 times 5, which gives us 10 over 1. So y is equal to 10. C. Now, same thing, except now our x is being divided by a 1/4. That's alright, we can still do the same thing here. We're just going to take x and we're going to multiply it. We can think of this as 1 over 1/4, right? So we'll give x a coefficient of 1, and then we'll multiply by the inverse. So we'll do this off to the side. So I'll rewrite this over here. We have 1x over 1/4 equals 20. So when we multiply this, we'll have 1/4 over 1, and this fraction will cancel this fraction, this whole number will cancel this whole number, so then we get x on this side. Now, if we multiply by 1/4 over 1, we have to do the same thing over here. Take 20 over 1 times 1/4 over 1. Now, the tricky thing here is we've got a whole number and a fraction on this side. So let's just go ahead and multiply across. 20 times 1/4, we'll treat them like separate numerators and denominators. So 1 times 1 will give us a denominator 1. Now we have 20 times 1/4. So if we just think of these numerators alone, we have to turn 20 into a fraction to multiply it by 1/4. So we'll take 20, put it over 1, and then multiply that by 1/4. From there we get 20 over 4 over 1. From here we can reduce 20 over 4. 4 goes into 20 5 times. So then we have 5 over 1 over 1. And that's all just going to reduce, and then 5 over 1 can be rewritten as 1. So this whole fraction, 5 over 1, can be rewritten as 5 over 1, which is the same as 5. So x equals 5. Then the last one, D. Same thing, but with a mixed number. So again, we're going to take our mixed number, turn it into an improper fraction. 4 times 2 gives us 8, plus 1 gives us 9. So then we have x over 9 over 4 equals 5. Another way that we could do this, I don't know if I'll show you guys this yet. Maybe. I don't know. Well, another way we could do this, instead of doing this this crazy looking fraction, if that's difficult for you, or if everything I just did on problem C is way too confusing and you had to rewind the video, we could do it this way. Once we have x over 9 over 4, It's like saying x divided by 9 over 4. So we could rewrite this as a coefficient of 4 over 9x. Or, yeah, you can think of it that way. If we multiply each side by 4 over 9, that would cancel that, right? So we can just multiply this side by 4 over 9 instead of doing it over 1. Because in the end you saw that that 1 in the bottom really didn't change the answer. So you can skip that 1 on the bottom and just multiply it by 4 over 9. So 5 times 4 gives us 20. 20 over 9 is what our answer is. So x is going to equal 20 over 9.